So we're going to move to the interview format. We have 2 interviews, but just while we're setting up for the interviews, I want to bring your attention to the video screens, and we're going to show a short video. This is Rob's story.
Rob was born in 1967.
He basically, like Jill says, he likes to sit and watch TV. He's very happy-go-lucky for the most part.
Very sociable.
Very sociable. He likes it when the neighbors come over. He likes visiting. He likes joking around.
He loves to play jokes.
Basically a happy kid.
We had him at home 12 years, eh?
Yeah.
And then we started having problems. And he went to Manitoba Development, which wasn't bad, it wasn't great. And then we moved to Minnedosa and we had the first group home. And that wasn't bad for a while, but then there was a problem there and it was closed, so.
You know, the movement was to take kids like Robbie and move them back into the community, and that was all part of the Vulnerable Persons Act, which has been in effect for quite some time. Our concern, of course, was because he had been in 2 previous group homes, that we want to repeat the process.
So we said definitely not the first year. The second year they asked us again and we said definitely not.
We thought that, well, we had to look at the home. We were comfortable with St.Amant care of Robbie over the years. Because this was run by St.Amant, we felt that
We felt much better. It was under the umbrella.
It had a half a chance of working, and it actually worked out very well for him. So.
First of all, the way they put out the transition that they would do, because the other homes he was just plunked in, and that was it. And of course, it didn't go too well. But we were very impressed with St.Amant, transitioning slowly, visiting, you know, and all the help we got from them. Very impressed. Nobody was more surprised than us, eh? We thought,
Absolutely.
This will not work. This will not work.
Well, we convinced ourselves, I guess, that it wouldn't work, but without actually having given it a chance. And I said to Joe one day that, you know, we just give it a chance, and if it doesn't work out, they did say to us that he could go back to
John promised us
River Road.
that he could go back. So that was a nice guarantee.
He's relaxed here for one thing. He's got lots of room. He's got a TV to watch, which he likes to do. He's got a couch to lay on.
It's more like a home.
They're keeping him busy. They're taking him out and doing a lot of things with him. He's in a day program that he seems to like. And I think that the fact that he gets on the bus in the morning and goes to the day program is kind of like a good thing because it occupies him.
We didn't think he'd go to that, especially 5 days a week. Because I had said to Janice, is it possible to do 2? Because sometimes it's too stimulating for him. But you've never had a problem.
No, he enjoyed River Road, and that was one of that's why we were reluctant to take him out of there. We didn't want to start over with, you know, problems with...
We'd had many years of tough times, so... But this has worked out really good, eh? And as far as you're talking about home, I think this feels more like a home to him compared to St.Amant. Not what you do or did, it's just, it is a home, it's a house.
I'm happy to introduce Tiki Sawatsky, Sarah Van Mackelberg, and Sarah Jones, who work for St.Amant as part of our administrative team, but also volunteer as part of the PALS program. So welcome to all of you. So, Tiki, can you tell me a little bit about the PALS program and what drew you to get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so PAL stands for Partnership Through Activities, Learning, and Sharing. And basically what happens is you fill out a little survey or like a little questionnaire about yourself, what you like to do, music you like, things you do in your free time, sports, teams, all that kind of stuff. And Volunteer Services takes that and they partner you up or they match you up with somebody supported by St.Amant in some way, whether it's here at River Road or in the community. and they match you up so that you're getting a true friend out of it. So you are meeting somebody who has the same interests as you, who has the same kind of things that you like to do, same kind of taste in music, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Okay. Sarah, how many people are currently participating in the PALS program, and what drew you to get involved?
Currently, the PALS program has 60 matches, as well as there's 6 individuals who are on the wait list for a PAL. I think for all of us, I could say that it really began with, we didn't know that we could spend more time with our pal Ted. And we had organized an outing with all of reception as well as some old reception staff to spend time with him around the holidays. And after having the best time, he had a great time, we had a great time. We were approached by Tracy and Volunteer Services to say, hey, like, did you know that this was even available for all of you guys? You guys could spend more time together. And so, like, it really was a no-brainer. We were like, absolutely. And so all of us have gone on to spend a lot more time regularly with Teddy.
Right on. Okay, Sarah, what kind of commitment is becoming a pal, and what drew you to get involved?
It's ongoing. I make plans with him just like you would another friend. Go, are you free on Friday? Yes or no? You know, you make plans around that. Sarah spends every Wednesday with him, and Tiki again, it's ongoing. You make plans. We might also jump in on someone else's plans. It's just like having a friend. You make plans, they can get canceled, they can get rescheduled, but you know, it's ongoing. It was the same thing. We went to an outing at Celebrations, and it was magical, and we all just wanted to spend more time with Teddy. So.
Right on. Thanks for sharing that. So Tiki, how does PALS work, and what do you do as a PAL?
So it kind of depends. Everybody does different things with Ted. I personally have had the opportunity to go on a few outings with him. So we went and saw a cover band for Frankie Valli. We went to Rainbow Stage Moamia, which Ted still talks about. We've gone to the art gallery. We went to Stella's for dinner one night. And it's just, everybody does different things with him, but it's really about what you enjoy doing. I like to eat, Ted likes to eat. We have lots of fun. We love listening to the same kind of music. I like that old kind of, I would love to sit down and listen to his records with him. So yeah, it's just, everybody does a different kind of thing with him. It's just like any other friend you might have. You know, you enjoy doing certain things with certain people because you have the same interests. And I think for Teddy, it's really, I mean, I'm speaking for him, but he's told me that it's nice to have people who want to do the things that he wants to do. I know Sarah the other day literally went and did shredding with him because that's what he wanted to do. And she was happy to do that with him because it's something that we just want to spend more time with him. So
can each of you share what your favorite kind of moment is in being a pal, or
specifically with Ted, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I have lots of favorite moments. My absolute favorite so far, I think, is when we went to Stella's the other night. We were sitting there, and I have never seen somebody eat the way that Ted eats when he's not here. I think everybody knows that sometimes he's not a fan of some of the meals he has. But he had an entire smoothie, he had an entire burger, he had all his hash browns, he ate all his coleslaw, and by the end of it, he was so full he fell asleep at the table.
That's a good meal.
And we still had to go to the art gallery afterwards, so like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Teddy and I have been fortunate enough to take part in this past leisure guide. And so we were taking drama class together every Wednesday, and that was kind of a really new territory for both of us. We didn't know if we could be actors, but the very first class, I just think that it was a really positive way to start, and it was a really good moment in the beginning of our PALs, was that the facilitator just kind of sat there and he was like, okay, who wants to come up on stage? Does anybody like want to be the first person? And Ted just instantly raised his hand. He's like, yep, I'm in. And he's like, okay, well, like what play are we going to do? Does anyone have any ideas? And again, right away, Ted jumped on board and he was like, the big bad wolf, I think. And so the facilitator was like, oh, well, Ted, you'd make a great big bad wolf. And Ted was like, no, that's too hard. So he's like, okay, well, would you like to be one of the little pigs? Yeah, no problem, for sure. We got on stage, we were little pigs. So the facilitator had this really great way of doing it where he would tell the story and we would participate the way that we could. And so he was telling the story, and Ted had been given the role of the pig with the straw house. Well, every time that part came, Ted was definitely a natural comedian in the sense that he goes, "No, it's bricks." And every time everybody was laughing, and it was really a great first experience into being Teddy's pal and into this really new experience for both of us, and it just it left a really positive impact, I think, for both of us.
Oh, thanks for sharing that.
Mine is I went to meet him at the room where we do our crafts. Some people have gotten cards that we've made. And without saying anything, I walked into the room, and he heard me, he must have, and he was just sitting by the window, staring outside, and he just said, "It's pretty." And it was such a heartwarming moment, and he was just staring outside, admiring the snow, and it just it was so beautiful. I just loved it.
Oh, thank you. Have you had any feedback from Ted or his family?
Yeah, so I can speak a little bit on the family side. I get to see his mom or his sister on the weekends. That's when they come in, and I'm here on the weekends. And his mom tells me every time, she goes, "Oh, he told me all about what you guys did this week. It's so nice to hear. I'm so happy to know that it's you guys who are the ones going out with him." I think it's really nice for her to know exactly who is attending these things with him or who's hanging out with him during the weekdays. And some of the people who are there that aren't necessarily staff. We are coming in as volunteers. So yeah, I'm at reception talking to her as reception, but I'm actually, his friend. I'm hanging out with him on the weekdays when she might not see him. So that's kind of the feedback that I've gotten from her.
I'd say Sarah and I stay for reception. Teddy regularly comes by in the morning, just part of his regular routine, right? And every Thursday morning he would come by, especially that first day, and he'd be like, "That drama class?" He's like, "I really enjoyed that." He's like, "That teacher, he's a great teacher." And he'd always come and tell "Okay, so this Wednesday, we're going to drama," right? Just knowing that he was having a really good time about it. And even the week that we didn't have drama class, Teddy made sure that I came in and we practiced our lines together to be ready for our final performance.
Right on. So, I'm not sure who's going to speak to this, but why do you think someone should become a pal?
I think we can all kind of say it, yeah. It's a true friendship, hands down. We went into it wanting to spend more time with Ted, whether it was, in the building, outside the building, doing something he wanted to do. It was getting to know him, and it's on his side receiving true friendship. I think that it's easy for him to come by and say, "Hi, Tiki," and we'll talk about whatever we need to talk about, but we'll often talk about, what we've done, the things we've done. "Oh, remember when we did this?" And it's all kind of good memories that we all have, and we genuinely just are friends with Ted. People used to say "Oh, quit bugging the girls at reception," but for us it's not like that. It's anybody's come in to hang out and say hi to us, and we like that kind of interaction with him, so.
Okay.
I think it's the same reason you'd want any other friend. It's just I'm just speaking, I hope for everybody, but that it's one of the most genuine friendships that I have, and that's something that we got through joining the PALS program. And often, Teddy's been a part of our life for a long time. For probably about 3 years now, I think we've all worked here, and he would always come and hang out with us on my weekend shift. I get hours of time with Ted, but I think often he was coming into our world, and this was a really great experience to come into his world, and for him and I to have these really great experiences together, all of us, right? I think it was kind of like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's someone we see every day, so it's kind of nice that we get to have that friendship with him, because we did see him every day, and we did want to spend more time with him, so I think that's a true testament to us wanting to be friends with Teddy, and I think anyone who loves spending time with the people here or the people in the community, it's just so rewarding and great.
Right on. Okay, would you join me in thanking these three lovely ladies? Thank you. Awesome job. And thank you for sharing. Great. Thanks a lot.
Can I just ask, how do you sign up for that program?
So question is, how do you sign up for the program? Talk to Tracy. You can also go online. Can you? Yes?
It's online.
It's online?
7048.
Extension 7048.
You're welcome to do that way.
Thanks. Okay, it is now my pleasure to do an interview on Jordan's Principle. So could I invite our interviewees forward. I told you earlier we're going to talk a little bit about Jordan's Principle, and I think this is an awesome way to learn a little bit about this initiative. So over the past year, St.Amant embarked on an entirely new service area. As you know, we've always been funded by the province of Manitoba through the Department of Health and the Department of Families. Last year, we were approached by the federal government to offer supports with federal funding through an initiative called Jordan's Principle. I'd like to welcome Tawny Hoff, Ryan Heckert, and Nicole Kerouac to talk about their experiences supporting this initiative over the last year. So Tawny, can you tell me a little bit about what is Jordan's Principle and how did St.Amant become involved?
It's such an honor to be part of Jordan's Principle and to be able to do such amazing work in Manitoba. Jordan's Principle is named in memory of Jordan Anderson. He was a little boy born originally from Norway House Cree Nation. He was born with complex medical needs and lived in hospital. Once he was deemed medically stable and could move home, he spent 2 more years in hospital, which wasn't necessary, while the provincial and federal government fought over who would cover his at-home cost. And unfortunately, he passed away in hospital without spending one day in his family home or in his community. So Jordan's Principle just aims to ensure that all First Nations children can access all public health services without any denial, delay, or disruption in those services. And like John mentioned, St.Amant was approached in early 2017 to provide behavioral supports in a nearby First Nations community. They also spoke with the federal government about St.Amant services more generally, and on that same day they were invited to submit a proposal to meet the needs of children with disabilities in any of the 63 First Nations communities within Manitoba, and it was approved. And by August 2017, Jordan's Principle here was staffed and ready to accept service requests.
That's an awesome explanation. Thank you very much. Okay, Ryan, I think, is this your question? Can you tell us about your role over the past year in relation to Jordan's Principle? Are you going to go first? Yeah, you go first. Okay.
So I'm actually a social worker for River Road Place, but I've had the honor of working with Jordan's Principle since my time here. So my role has been just to work on transition planning from River Road Place with children who are being transitioned home. Some of the things that I've been able to do was to connect with Jordan's Principle's partners outside of St.Amant, as well as the St.Amant interdisciplinary team here. We transition meetings and conference call meetings, making referrals, submitting funding requests, and supporting family, making sure that they have everything they need to support their child.
Right on. Ryan?
All right, so I've been working in psychology services as a behavior analyst. So we've been providing assessment and intervention to the children in their communities, trying to give them a similar type of service that they could get if they were to live in the city. And from a non-clinical side, we've been providing various workshops within the communities, as well as here at St.Amant. Some of those topics relate to autism, developmental disabilities, as well as managing challenging behavior.
Thank you. Nicole?
Thank you. My role with Jordan's Principle here at St.Amant is that of nurse consultant. So I've come from the Children's Hospital of Winnipeg after 23 years of nursing. The Jordan's Principle stole my heart. So the ability to help children and their families, respite workers, extended staff in the communities, as well as nurses in the nursing stations who haven't had a lot of experience or knowledge of kids with complex medical needs. So I can get into the community, provide some training and support to allow these kids to be home.
Thank you. So Tawny, how many referrals have we received? How many children and communities have we been in over the last year?
So far, we have received approximately, been serving 150 children from 35 communities, totaling with just under 350 service requests. We also have received close to 200 workshop requests from about 20 communities.
Yeah, I have heard those numbers before, and every time I hear them, they're overwhelming. So it just shows you how much need there is and how much work we have to do as we go forward. Ryan, can you talk a little bit about why this work is important? why is it appropriate that St.Amant be involved in this work?
Sure. So some of the importance, there's just a lot of limitations to accessing healthcare in the First Nation communities. So the Jordan's Principle Initiative helps address some of those limitations. And it also really helps increase the quality of healthcare that children living in First Nation communities have access to. And I think it's important that St.Amant is involved since we do have a really good foundation. We do provide a wide variety of services. There's a lot of expertise here, especially with the complex medical care. It's also important that we can share our knowledge and help build capacity in the communities, with one of those long-term goals being for the communities to be able to provide the services themselves. And also we've helped the Indigenous population in the past, so it's nice to continue building that relationship and just really helping them with the challenges that they're experiencing.
Right on. Thank you very much. So for each of you, what's one story that stands out that really describes the value and the benefit of our work in the Jordan's Principle Initiative?
All right, so I'll start. We had one referral. It was a foster child. The family was experiencing a lot of challenges with this child. And it was so severe that the siblings, or the foster siblings, actually wanted the child to be given back to CFS. So just through the work of psychology and counseling over the past year, we've really helped this family, and now the family's in a lot better of a position. They're not worried as much about placement breakdown, and all in all, it's been a very positive success story.
Great, thank you for sharing that. Nicole?
I have a story of a young child who required assistance with tube feeds and had a couple other complex medical conditions that required emergency medication management and awareness of people that would be taking care of her. So prior to her leaving the Children's Hospital at 6 months of age for the first time, I was able to meet the family at the hospital, meet with the experts at the Children's Hospital, and then go to the community before she got home, train respite workers, train extended family members to be a strong support, as well as meet with the nurses in the nursing station and provide them with a great review before the child made it home. So when she got home, they were prepared for her, much better prepared.
Right on, thank you. Tawny?
My favorite part is just hearing the family's excitement when they're informed that their child will be able to go home. During the first transition process with the first child from River Place to go home, I remember hearing within a couple of days of informing parents that their child would be going home, that the father had already told everybody in the community that their child would be able to come home. And it's just an amazing feeling to see families being brought back together.
Thank you. Okay, Ryan, I think you're, what's next for the initiative? Are we receiving more funding, hiring more people? Are we going to be serving more kids?
So the initiative is going to be growing and evolving over the next while. So last year we received $1 million worth of funding, and for the current fiscal year that's been up to over $3 million. So with that being said, we're also going to be increasing our staffing from about 5 full-time staff to over 20 full-time staff. And currently we do have the 4 main areas of counseling, social work, psychology, and nursing. And we're also going to be adding an educator position as well as offering psychometric testing.
And we do a little dietitian,
which we're also
consultation.
increasing.
Okay.
And also we're just going to be adapting to fit the needs of the community along the way.
Good, thanks. So this is a question for each of you. Why are each of you looking forward what are each of you looking forward to for St.Amant and this partnership?
I'm really looking forward to more of the success stories and just seeing how the communities are building off the services that we're providing. And even just the workshops that we offer, seeing how the communities really benefit from that knowledge and they're constantly asking for more. So it's just nice to see the reception is so welcomed.
Right on. Thanks. Nicole?
I'm looking forward to the ongoing collaboration with other service providers from the city, but also enhancing what the community knows and their ability to take on much of this training that we're providing and education, that at some point we'll put ourselves out of a job, that they're doing it on their own.
No, right on.
That's the goal.
I agree with what Ryan and Nicole have said. And ultimately, I just hope that this partnership will be a stepping stone in working towards reconciliation in our province.
Thank you. So I just want to add a couple of comments, and I think you guys did a wonderful job, and it's so nice for, I think, all of our staff to hear from your colleagues what it is that they're doing, and you can also hear in their voice how important they think that this initiative is. And we gave this a lot of thought as an organization when we were first approached, and I think we were wanting to be very cautious and not to come across like we were going to come into other people's communities and tell them what to do. We wanted to make sure that it really was worthwhile from a perspective of a partnership, and that we had expertise to share, but with a lot of humility, if I could say it that way. And I had the privilege today of sitting on a meeting just before lunch with one of the First Nations communities, one of the 63 communities, and they were coming to us talking about maybe setting up a small group care facility for adults. And we're wondering, what experience. And I just said, we're happy to help you and give you information. And they then went on to say, and the reason we picked St.Amant is the staff that you sent to our community were extremely respectful of our community. Often professionals come in and they say, come to our office, bring the person to me in this office here, and I'll see them for the 30 minutes. He said, your staff, they arrived, they said, hey, we'll jump in a car and go to them, to their house, and to them it just felt like we were instantly a part of their community. So another thing, I think we've talked about a lot of things today that you should be proud of in your colleagues here at St.Amant. So again, thank you very much. Can you join me in thanking all of them for doing this interview? Great job, you guys. I will not forget to tell you that this is National Volunteer Week this week. So great that we could do the discussion on PALS, and I encourage you to look at PALS and also to invite your friends, family, and community in general to be part of that. Okay? Thanks, everyone.